Hey guys, today's March 8th. It's a beautiful Sunday, and I got a question from a student, and essentially his girlfriend asked him a yes or no question. And she asked him if he would ever go 1 week without his computer. And then she started asking, well, okay, if we wanted to go camping for 2 days and you couldn't bring your computer, would you still come? And the student answered no. But this is a trap, and I think this is a trap a lot of people kind of fall for. I think a lot of people fall for this kind of trap where people will ask you a very specific question, and people tend to answer those with yes or no. And the problem with this is it can kind of misconstrue actually what you think, and it's kind of really, really bad for communicating who you are as a person, right? If I went to someone and I said, hey, would you come camping with us if you couldn't bring your computer for 2 days? And the person said, no, I wouldn't. I need my computer with me at all times. Or if the person just said no, I'd be a bit like, okay, that's a bit weird. This is a weird person. Why is he so in love with his computer? Why wouldn't he go camping without his computer? What's on his computer? This is a weird person. But that's because the person answered my question wrong. If I asked you instead, hey, would you go camping with me for 2 days if you couldn't bring your computer? Well, this is what I would say, right? This is an example answer. You could say, yes, I would, but I need to figure out before I go how I can make sure that my work gets done over those 2 days while I'm camping, right? This has nothing to do with about an attachment to a computer. This is not me saying no, that I would not go camping because I don't want to go camping. It's me explaining that, yes, I would, but I would have to figure these things out. And you guys see how this answer is very complete? You see how this answer is very full? And do you see how this answer makes logical sense? No one thinks I'm an extremist. It's like, what if they were to then ask a follow-up question? Oh, why do you have to make sure your work gets done during those times? I could explain very simply, I've been trying to keep this work streak up, and I make sure that I do this every single day because only this consistency and this level of consistency is how I get results, right? Be very careful of answering people's questions because most questions are designed to be a trap. If I were to say, do you dislike that person? Right? And you were to say yes or say no. I'm letting you know now that in my brain, I don't fully understand what you think about that person. And another thing is I might be misconstruing your relationship with that person. Questions are traps and you should never answer them with a simple yes or no. You should always, if you're trying to actually get someone to understand you, don't do that. I'm not saying this for any interrogations or cops, but I'm saying if you actually want someone to understand you, like an interview or a relationship, if you genuinely want someone to understand your frame of mind, if you want to be good at communicating your thoughts and ideas, never just say no to things, never just say yes to things. And also, to be honest, you shouldn't really play too many hypothetical games. So if someone invites you guys out to go camping and they say, oh, would you go camping with me if you couldn't bring your computer for 2 days? Don't give some extremist answer like, no, I'd never go because then I couldn't do my work. Don't do that. Instead, you can give a real rational answer, which is, yes, I would, but I would need to make sure that I figure out how to do this. And if they ask why, okay, well, why do you need all that? You can then explain that too. And you see how now the person really understands who you are as a person. You see how there's no miscommunication. Be very, very careful answering trap questions with a simple yes or no, because it's going to make the person not understand what you truly believe. It's going to make the person think you're a person who maybe you are not, right? It's going to give them a different view of who you are, and it might not be an accurate view. So just be careful with it, guys. Understand that most questions are traps. And really, if you're going to give an answer to a question and you want that person to understand, you're going to have to explain to yourself. Another quick tip, always go the easy answer. Always go the correct way, right? Always go the less controversial way on the yes or no side. For example, would you go camping if you couldn't bring your laptop with you for 2 days? Yes, right? The easy answer. But did you kill that guy? No, but go the easy way. Go the normal yes or no side, and then give some explanation on top to all the other things, right? So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this helps. And I just want you guys to practice this for yourself. If any of you guys are asked a question today, I want you to think about how can you give an answer that really, really actually expresses how you feel, how you think, and how can you actually communicate with them properly.